So let's see. So I'm going to be talking about the topic of fitting in. I had this huge awareness around the idea of fitting in. And how many times have we tried to fit in with a friend group or work or a church or whatever it is, right? Even with our husband or partners, trying to fit in. And what came to me today was that as we're trying to fit in, we actually give up ourselves. And that in itself is pretty much a bummer, but like you give up the uniqueness of you. Hi, Magdalene. Um, so I'm talking about when we start to try to fit in, we actually give up ourselves and the equation of ourselves in the reality. But not only that, it sets up this whole system of not allowing, okay, not accepting. Okay, so if we were to just say, you know what, maybe I don't fit in. I don't fit in. There's something that happens when we just admit that to ourselves. There's a self-care, and there's a self-allowance, and a self-unconditional love that happens when we say, I don't fit in, and that's okay. And I love myself no matter what, and oh my gosh, look at this part of myself, and look at this, and that definitely doesn't fit in there, but I love this part of myself. How awesome is that? But the chain reaction that happens from that, hello, salute, is that we're able to give others that same allowance. We're able to give others that same unconditional love. So the chain reaction of saying, I just don't fit in, I'm going to be an allowance of myself and all my uniqueness, and then I'm going to be an allowance of their uniqueness. And how cool is that? So what if like it's a lie that really no one's fitting in and we're all thinking we're trying to, and maybe there are some people that have some communities and we just feel like, oh yeah, I fit in right there. But for the most part, especially if you are a really creative person or a super conscious person that's working toward, bringing more light to the planet, like you're not going to fit in with the collective. And it's really okay. It's actually more than okay. You came here to not fit in. And how awesome is that? And by allowing yourself to not fit in, you actually get more connection with people because you are an allowance of their uniqueness as well. So anyway, that's my topic for today. Does anyone have anything to say about that? About fitting in and about, oh yeah, I was saying, so when we're trying to fit in, we're kind of in this box of like what's appropriate or hey Dennis, what's appropriate to say, what's appropriate. Like a lot of times when we're trying to fit in, there's a lot of right and wrong or good or bad about how we express and our voice, and if it's good enough to sing out, right? And the thing is, so if you're saying to yourself, it's got to fit in, then you lose a lot of possibility and times to express yourself. So if you're saying to yourself, you know what, I don't fit in, and it's perfectly okay, you get so much more capacity with your voice. You actually, by saying it's okay if I don't fit in, you psychologically give yourself permission then to speak, to voice, to sing. Because once you say, I don't fit in, you're not encapsulated in this like bubble or box anymore. That goes out and you get to be like, I'm different, and you start celebrating it. But the cool chain reaction of that is you start celebrating everyone's differences. And that's really cool. And when it comes to voice, you start celebrating everybody's voice. And that's been such a gift for me, is to say, you know what, my voice doesn't fit in. Maybe I don't fit into singing group or choir, or sometimes I play with I'm in a choir right now and I'm excited to play there for a little bit. And then sometimes I leave the choir and I say, what's unique about me? And what's unique about me is a lot of times with singing, I don't want to stay in time. I don't even want to be on the note that people are wanting me to sing. I want to sing in a response to it. I want to sing in another note that's inspired by this note. And that doesn't work really great in choirs. But I am really excited. I'm in a choir right now for Christmas, and I'm excited just to play in the choir realm of staying on the note and just seeing what that can offer me. But I know I don't super well fit in, and that's okay. And that gives me allowance to, hey, Wendy, allowance to know that about myself and make choices. And when I used to join choirs, I used to want to sing with people. I used to really try to fit in and really get into the wrongness of me if I wasn't getting it or something like that. But the cool part is that when you say to yourself, I don't fit in, you give yourself permission to just make a mistake and to be unique and to make choices that, yeah, maybe I'll go sing with a different group. Or so with a voice, it's super a big contribution to say you don't fit in, because then the expression starts to well out of you. And I worked in a group last night, and the woman said, oh, I find myself that I'm not really on key or pitch. And I'm like, great, let's see what happens, So it's like the invitation, when I do my community sound healing groups, I always give them the invitation to be different. You do not have to stay on what I'm singing. Actually, I encourage you not to, and just to whatever flows through you like an open flute, be and sing that out. And that's what we talked about last night, and it was just this beautiful unfolding. There was 4 of us, and we had this beautiful sound healing we offered up to the planet, and we had some experienced singers there, and we had non-experienced singers there, and it didn't matter. All of us added such beauty and potency and such beautiful frequency, and it couldn't happen if we were all fitting in and not being our unique selves. So when it comes to voice, it's uber essential that you actually say, you know what, I don't fit in, I'm unique. And that is a contribution. And in any areas that we, I got a really good example here. Christmas. My boys, I have a 15-year-old, an 11-year-old, and I have a husband. And they are all males. And they all have a way that they love to celebrate Christmas. And it involves a lot of movies and just downtime and a lot of eating sugar. And I don't fit in. And this year I was like, you know what? I don't fit into that. And I'm going to take care of myself. Instead of trying to get them to do something different, I was like, awesome. I don't fit that. So what I'm going to do, I joined the Christmas choir. So I could have some community and singing and all on Christmas Eve, so that I could just feel like I could rest in Christmas Day with them and be allowance with what they're doing. So, I don't even fit in with my family. And isn't that interesting? How many times we're trying to fit in with our families? And what if you don't have to? And knowing that piece, that I don't fit in with my family, that gives you the awareness, what choices do I want to make around this? Okay? And it's not always about just leaving a situation when you don't fit in. It's about being allowance of them and being an allowance of you, and making these great choices that light you up, and in the process light everyone up. So it's like when you give someone the gift of allowance, including yourself, it's such an easeful feeling. It's grace. It's like grace in action when you're able to give allowance to yourself and to others in the room, that they don't have to show up a certain way to be stomachable to you. Stomachable. Let's look that up in the dictionary. So that's what I got to say today. Yeah. How much potency, how much voice, How much ease, how much joy can we have by telling ourselves, you know what, I don't fit in. And that gives allowance for me and allowance for you. And then I can make choices from there and have my voice. And it doesn't have to be compared to anything. It can just be. And so much possibility springs from that. Okay, well, if anyone wants to continue the conversation or make a comment, or feel free, there'll be a recording of this. And let's see, I'm on day 6. I'm going to day 30 with these live Facebook feeds. So all these topics are topics that I work in my life coaching business, my Reiki and voice business, my holistic voice coaching sessions. And so, yeah. And that is that. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye. Bye-bye.